What's going on, everybody? I'm Akaza. Welcome back to another vinyl record review video. And in this one, oh boy, we are going back to the year 2012 for one of my 21st century favorite hardcore records, which when I say hardcore, just melodic hardcore. NOFX, self-entitled. This album by NOFX, I know gets a lot of hate. A lot of people don't like it for the same reason they don't like Worst Ditch Effort. God, I love First Ditch Effort. It's fucking amazing. But and I mean, I understand why a lot of people don't like self-entitled and First Ditch Efforts because NoFX changes their tone with these two albums. The songs are a little more negative and a lot more personal, emotional, especially with First Ditch Effort, which I'll get to that later. But so I get it, but I don't see what people are talking about. There's plenty of songs on this record that are classical, over the top, offensive, fuck you, fuck religion, fuck, no effects. There's plenty of songs like that, and some of these songs are, they got double meanings behind them. The song that opens this record is phenomenal. 72 Hookers. Now, if you're not familiar and no effects heard this record, 72 Hookers. So Fat Mike went overseas, right? He does that quite often, and he talked to some of the youth over there who, were trained to be suicide bombers or some shit. It's like, hey, do you hate America? Do you hate the West? What's going on with this? I want to know, why do you want to do this? And they're like, no, 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 we don't hate America. We don't hate the West. We just, the 72 virgins. We want some pussy, man. We want the sexy girls. And that's a lot of the reason for why a lot of these people do it, because they get promised 72 virgins, because, to quote Brad Religion, such a grand illusion. But I'm just gonna read to you some of the lyrics of the song because when I first heard this, which, by the way, before I do that, so this record opens up a bit differently than every other NoFX record because instead of just, punk rock is hardcore, fast, to the point, less than a couple minutes long, right? Some of the hardcore songs are 30 seconds. This song, 72 Hookers, dun 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 dun. It's got about a minute instrumental build up until the song actually starts, and I thought that was pretty interesting because you don't really get that too often in punk rock songs because it's gonna be short and fast to the point. But here you go, 72 Hookers. I'm gonna read you the lyrics. They don't hate us, they just want their lives. Or no, they don't hate us, they just hate their lives. And desperate people learn to despise. The suicidals don't want to coop. They don't want to blow up, they just want their 72. 72 virgins can never stop a war, but 100,000 hookers can beat the Marine Corps. It's stopping hatred. Fighting will cease when everyone is getting blowjobs. That's when we'll finally have world peace. Oh man. How many million men can be killed in foreign wars? We need to reinstate the draft and list a million whores. Start with the sororities and then all the spring break. Ship the girls gone wild to Afghanistan. That'll gladly blow the shakes. These holy wars aren't holy. It's not the military complex. Terrorists are 16-year-old kids who were promised jihad sex. Maybe if they could see a woman's face, they might not get into that plane with a bomb in their suitcase. Damn. Gotta say, that is such an explosive way to start this record off. Those lyrics are there. And I'll say this too. I can't really list on one hand how I can't really think of too many punk rock bands, especially now, that attack Islam like that. Because not only is Fat Mike speaking out against the war and fighting these senseless wars overseas, but he's also poking fun. He's smashing Islam, which he's done that before in songs like Blasphemy and Best God and Show. Fat Mike, no effects, I mean, Bad Religion's in it too, but Fat Mike has smashed Islam several times, which I love the way he does it in 72 Hookers. It's comedic, it's priceless, and whenever on the second verse here, 72 virgins can never stop a war, but 100,000 hookers can beat the Marine Corps. But stop, yeah. When the music goes until he says, when everyone is getting blowjobs, that's when we'll finally have world peace. The instrumental in the background kind of dies down at that part, so, like, let's say if you're driving around in your vehicle playing that out loud, people around you will hear those two lines. And I remember I used to drive around in my old 19 Ford F-150 truck, right, back in 2012, and the first time I played the CD in my speakers, I was on Main Street, and I got so many fucking looks for that. It's like, oh my god, it was priceless. But yeah, 72 Hookers definitely the best way to open this record because it's just a damn good song. Now, the second track on this record is called I Believe in Goddess. Now, in 2012, 2013, 2014, I had that song as my ringtone for such a long time because I love it. Especially back then, I was this militant atheist dude, and I mean, I still am an atheist, but I was really militant, and I liked wearing, the cross I liked wearing shirts and things that were very expressive that I didn't believe in God, that fuck God, fuck religion, fuck all that bullshit. That was me, which still to an extent today I am, but I'm not as angry as I was back then. But I don't believe in God. I believe in Goddess. I don't believe in I don't believe in prayer. I believe in worship. I don't believe in destiny, but I can feel luck. I don't believe in people because I don't give a fuck, man. And plus, that was a hardcore and heavy song with those lyrics. It was perfect to just vent. And you might think it's just a song about how he doesn't believe in God, but no, it's actually a song about BDSM. He wrote that for his, I think, then girlfriend, who used to be a dominatrix. That's who that song is about, and so it's got a little double meaning there, and it's just the coolest way to write a song, a love song for your girlfriend. I don't believe in God, I believe in Goddess. I don't believe in prayer, but I believe in worship. I believe in destiny, but I can feel love. I don't believe in people because they don't give a fuck. Man, I kind of like hypothesis. I kind of dig laws. I kind of like defending causes and underdogs. I like theories of evolution and of design. I don't believe in everything except for decline. Making a reference to the decline. Hell yes. I don't believe infinity. I think there's an end. I don't want an afterlife. I want to transcend. I'm gonna do everything that I want now right here. I want a life peculiar and I want it severe. So yeah, the song is, it's making a smack towards religion and all that, but it's using it at the same time to make a double meaning towards a life of BDSM with his dominatrix girlfriend, and that's why I love NoFX. What other band writes shit like that? I mean, tell me in the comments section below. What other band has a song like I Believe in Goddess? And look, it's only just three simple lines, three simple verses. I mean, it's a short song. It's a good one. Next song on here was Ronnie and Mags, which I obviously wasn't alive during the Reagan administration, but I know a lot about Ronald Reagan. But it's just a classic song about gonna send the welfare bums back to work, gonna start a war before '84. It's got a catchy little chorus right there. Gonna start a war before '84. Start a dirty war in El Salvador. Gonna break the Contras and the apartheid. Then win the election by a landslide. Just talking about Ronald Reagan and that era and just a bunch of Reaganomics bullshit. It's a good song, but probably not my favorite on the record. He also, in recent years, 2016, did a kind of a sequel. I have the Ronnie and Mag 7-inch over there in my box of 1,000 7-inches. There's also a Sid Nancy 7-inch, and I think there's another one. I can't remember exactly, but I believe they did 3 of those. They might have just done 2, but I thought they did 3 of them. She didn't lose her baby. Now, at first, I didn't understand what the song was written about. I thought it was maybe him talking about his own mother and how abusive she was, because he talks about that in First Ditch Effort with Deadbeat Mom. But apparently, no, he's in an interview, he mentioned that it was just about some lady who was just, she cried alone for hours, and she did lines on the floor, and she thought of the unthinkable. Then she crushed up even more. She never thought they'd take her away her baby. She didn't even know anybody could. And even though she was the only parent, they still took her. It's just about a bottom of the barrel mother losing her child, and then the child losing a child just killed her and broke her so badly that at some point they just came and they took her away. That's what the song is about. I mean, it's definitely a dark and heartbreaking song because that unfortunately happens to so many people out there. Just that's a really hard pill. That's really hard, not pill to swallow. That's a really deep song, which I can just say that I'm sorry for anybody who had to go through that. I personally have never had to go through that, so I can't speak from experience on it. And as much as it is a sad song, I really don't relate to that much, well, at all. But yeah, she didn't lose a baby. Secret Society. Now, this song is kind of up there with I Believe in Goddess. No gods, no masters. Now, the lyrics are actually saying to you, No gods. K-N-O-W, not N-O-C. K-N-O-W. Oh, yeah, my webcam is not that good. No gods, no masters. Know how to live with magnificent disasters. The shiniest cloaks and coveted daggers. No limits, no rules. Know how to wield dangerous arcane tools. No access to soak in our cesspools. In our secret society, we find freedom through slavery with absolute power and hierarchy in our secret society. So, if you listen to this song, you'll obviously at first think it's about anarchy and revolution and our secret society. It's called relinquish control for true freedom. Give up the reins. Surrender your free will. You will attain enlightenment. Learn to resign and your mind and soul. Give someone else complete control. Give up sovereignty if you want to be free. That's the line that kind of turns it around a bit. The song is about sex dungeons and BDSM, but like I Believe in Goddess, the way that song is written, Secret Society is also written in the same sort of context, which, seriously, no other band writes shit like this. No other fucking band writes shit like this. Secret Society and I Believe in Goddess, they're just, the way they're written, there's different double meanings, heavily metaphoric there. I love just the first two verses. No gods, no masters. Know how to live with magnificent disasters. And then no limits, no rules. Know how to wield dangerous arcane tools. But no gods, no master. That's a classic anarcho-punk. That's a classic anarcho-punk slogan right there. No gods, no masters. I mean, yeah, choking victim. No gods, no managers. But classic anarchy. No gods, no masters. It's a pretty cool way to do that. I want a master. I Fatty. Only 12 years old, already so alone, left abandoned on a train. You got a lot to learn. You got a lot to earn, but you'll never learn. Powders can't get rid of your pain. Chased by Keystone cops through LA's endless backdrops, you became loved by the world. But the biggest star is gonna leave the biggest scar on that pregnant, tarnished girl. Fatty, fatty. The world can turn pineapple upside down cake. Another song where people talk about cakes. Fatty, fatty. After many pratfalls, this is your prattest. Your friends turn on you in a split second. There is no place for the fattest man to hide out. Now, I remember when talking to a bunch of punk rockers, everybody thought this song had something to do with Fat Mike and his drug habit. But in reality, it's about a hobo. I can't necessarily remember the name of the train hopping hobo, but this song is about a train hopping hobo, I Fatty. Which, see, when you listen to these songs, half of these songs, and you sit there and you're listening to them, you're trying to understand them, you think you get the meaning, and then suddenly you're totally fucking wrong. That's why I always look to, I try to ask Fat Mike on uh, Instagram or Facebook. I try my hardest to get in touch with someone to, find out the meaning behind the songs and look into it and just study the lyrics, do my research, because a lot of the songs by NOFX, they got a, and it's like an old school dungeon crawler RPG game. You know, you can go through all the tunnels and all the hallways and kill all the demons and the monsters and shit. And you can find the secrets out in the open, but there's always some walk up to a certain wall, press triangle, then the secret passageway opens. That's how so many. That's why I like punk rock music. That's why I like NoFX, because there's just so many secrets, so many double messages, so many just it makes it interesting when authors do that to the music. They just add things that you don't notice it at first. You have to really look into it and think about it, and maybe even ask the author, "Hey, so this song here, what's this mean?" "Oh yeah, that's a reference to this and that." It's like, holy shit, man, that's fucking tight. I didn't even realize that. God damn, intelligence. That's what it takes. Sellout. Songs about Fat Mike being called a sellout and how he gets treated like shit. A lady hit his car after a show. A lot of people, especially in the punk rock communities on Facebook, they put NoFX up there with like Green Day and all the stadium punk bands, the ones that are rich. Because Fat Mike is rich. He's had a mansion. I think he still does. He's doing a lot better. His band, NoFX, they're doing a lot better than, most of the punk rock bands who they started with. Bad Religion, Pennywise, and all them. they're up there. So a lot of them, it's called corporate punk rock. A lot of them bands, which although half of them aren't on corporate labels, Fat Mike, NOFX is on Fat Records, which is one of the biggest record labels in the country, but Epitaph is the largest. But what I'm trying to say. Fat Mike for years has been fighting viciously against the label that people are trying to call it, which is pop punk. He's been he always for years has been saying, no, we're not pop punk, but that's a whole nother subject. I'm not going to get into debate. I personally don't feel like they're pop punk. Some of their songs kind of got that feel to them, but nah, no effects. Pop punk, like Green Day, Blink, Pennywise, and Sum 41, Offspring, Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, a lot of them bands I hear on the radio here in Kansas. I have never heard NOFX on FM radio here in Kansas, not on 98.9 The Rock, on 105.9. I've never heard NOFX on any of the radio stations here in Kansas where they play other pop punk bands. And plus, half of the people around here can't stand them because they're either play too shittily or they're offensive. So maybe in California where punk's acceptable for the most part, maybe they're considered pop punk music, but where I live, nah, NoFX is not punk. They're not pop punk whatsoever. And just because like a reason some people say that is because of some of the music that they write. For instance, my stepdad's a cop and my stepmom's a dom. That song does definitely sound kind of poppy, but just because I got a handful of songs that sound poppy doesn't mean they're a pop punk band. Just means, just it's the way they wrote it. Down with the Ship. This song is about how Fat Records is pretty much going down, and how Fat Mike at one point in time was like, "Fuck it, I'm not making anything from this. It's over." He was thinking about selling the record label and just walking away, which would have ended up fucking over all the employees and everyone around because, your record label crumbles, you're fucked. That's what that song is about. Down with the Ship. It could have been helped. It might have been saved. With me on the helm, I could have found ways to keep it afloat and find a new course, but I steered the ship right into the cliffs. The easy way out, a cowardly move, a short-sighted plan made by a self-centered man. They crew stayed with the ship and bailed as one. They didn't know imperishable damage was done. They had so much pride and so much camaraderie but that was all lost when they spotted me. Rowing to shore with the treasure on board, a cowardly plan made by a self-centered man. As I just said, it's a song about Fat Records back then doing just financially terrible, and over the years since the 90s, the Fat Records started in 91, right? 91, 92, something like that. They were doing good back then. They called that the golden days. If you watch the Fat Wreck documentary, they talk about it, and towards 2012, they had thinned out their employees. There were nowhere near as many employees working at Fat Records in 2012 as there were yesteryear, and so it's just about the decline of Fat. I said decline. It's just about the decline of Fat Records and how, in order to save himself from hitting the bottom of the barrel, he was just going to sell his record label. Because he talked about this in an interview, he was going to sell the record label to a major record label and just walk away with it, but he never ended up doing it because in the end, Fat Mike does love his friends and he didn't sell out. My sycophant others. Now, I kind of get the song, but I'm just like, huh, to an extent. Inconsequent, social infant, insolent, insignificant, and you're my sycophant. Brown noser, confident poser, shove down the garbage, ass kissers and anal smoke blowers. That's the best way to remember the song, ass kissers and anal smoke blowers. It's just about how his ego's up there. Don't inflate my head anymore. I don't need a bigger ego. Shoot me down. I need repression. Honesty mixed with rejection. Take me down a rung or three. I don't I like to live in reality. My head does not need any more inflation. It's already past regulation. Brown nosers, smoke blowers, yes yesers, no knowers, agreeers with meers, drinking my Coquette Clown reference right there. God damn it. This is why Fat Mike is such a one-of-a-kind songwriter. It's just about people getting mad because, it said that Fat Mike's got a bit of an ego and that he's arrogant and self-titled and all that shit. I don't really see it. Then again, I don't know him personally. I've only grown up as a fan, but yeah, it's definitely got a lot of metaphors in this song, and I love that those drinking my peers, that fucking Cokie the Clown reference. Which apparently he got his ass kicked with his new Cokie the Clown 12-inch. I saw a picture of him on Instagram, and apparently at one of his shows he got punched in the face by someone because they didn't like Cokie the Clown. And my question is, then why the fuck did you go there if you don't like Cokie the Clown? If you have any knowledge on Cokie the Clown and the history of it, which I know as like that's an obscure sub niche of NOFX. You kind of have to be into NOFX to really know who that is. But if you have any knowledge on what happened at that club, if you have any knowledge on what happened there and the lemonade and the pee thing, or if you've just watched the Cokie the Clown video, you ought to be aware, because most of the people who bought this, including myself, know the history. So you can't really say, and I know they might be saying, well, maybe they just want to get back at him for making him drink pee. Still, though, I mean, you go to a Cokie the Clown show, you gotta expect the most fucked up shit. I mean, watch the music videos that he's released. Watch the music videos that he has released for this new Cokie the Clown LP. That one, oh my god, I can't think of the name of the moment, but there's one that he released that he's just going all masochistic and shows him hanging, it shows him beating the shit out of himself, and a little too much for YouTube, honestly, Fat Mike. This machine is for condescending, keeps us gay in a denotative way, noses up and peering down, tight lips burst into a frown, fleece the rich and cheat the poor. That's what this machine is for, turning bellies into stars, then repeating, stab the poor, slice the rich, turn the lever, flip the switch, making everyone the same as the endgame. Hanging out with old McBean and his grandiose machine, no one seems to be annoyed, no one sees this as obscene. Song is a reference to Dr. Seuss, if you didn't know that. This machine is for the, like, Dr. Seuss sort of rhyme going on there. I always thought that song was super fucking cool. I've got one jealous again. This song, so back a long time ago, when Fat Mike married Erin. If you don't know who Erin is, she is the co-founder of Fat Records. She originally founded it with her husband, Fat Mike, obviously. On the War and Terrorism LP, there was a song called We've Got Two Jealous Agains, and it's just about him getting married to Erin. And then, unfortunately, through 2012, Fat Mike got a divorce, and I've got one jealous again. And We've Got Two Jealous Agains is a faster, more happier song, because it's about, hey, he's found a girl who's got all the same punk rock shit that he do. He's found love, he's found an awesome girl. And this one's slower and it's more depressing. I've got one jealous again. I've got one killing joke. I got what was bound to happen. What's broken now's been broke. I parted with my neurosis, but I kept the lookouts. I got the record player, but I didn't get the house. Well, hey, Fat Mike, at least you can still jam. You don't need a house to jam. You need a record player. And you know what's kind of funny? Back in 2012, when I first listened to this record, I listened to that song, and I was like, I'd take a record player over a house. Fuck yeah. I could listen to my music all I wanted to. Hey, a record player is free. Just find a plug-in somewhere, put your LP on, and rock out. But yeah, it's a sad song. Got one Black Flag Damage, one Golden Shower of hits. Yeah, the song is just about his divorce, and it's the opposite of We Got Jealous. The opposite of the first song. It's just about his divorce and what he's lost and how upset he is about it. It's a sad divorce song. Now, finally, the final song on the album, Xmas Has Been X'd. Now, let me go back to the Urban Waste LP. Remember what I said in that Urban Waste LP review video that back in high school I was in this class called Music Appreciation class? Remember that, guys? Well, in that class, once a week we'd be able to bring in a song or something for the class to listen to. And I did that many, 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 many times. I brought in Bad Religion, Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, DOA. I brought in a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, Self-Entitled came out after I graduated high school, and fuck! That disappointed me, because of all the songs on this record, like, I would have loved to have played I Believe in Goddess, but what would be the perfect song on this record to play around Christmas time? Because we have to play more than one song around Christmas time. Xmas Has Been X, to play it in a class full of fuckboy Christians and hicks. Oh my god. It's funny how it's funny how some fables become historic when the authors clearly wrote them to be metaphoric. But people will believe anything if it's written, especially in stone or ancient scroll. December 25th has been blacklisted because Dawkins found the proof Jesus never existed. It was the last thing anyone ever expected. Xmas has been X'd. No colored lights, no shopping sprees, no more presents under dead pine trees. Saint Nick is dead, but we don't grieve. We celebrate last Christmas Eve. Jesuits. Now, this is my favorite part of the song right here. Jesuits are slowly turning dynatic. Protestants are increasingly becoming agnostic. Pentecostal churches are hanging pentagrams. Priests and nuns are molesting each other. Methodists and Baptists are claiming Buddhist. Evangelicals, surprisingly, are nudists. Nudists. But mostly everyone is trying to become Jew. Because Easter's canceled too. No more egg hunts. No Sunday Mass. Fridays are fair. Wednesdays don't ash. They canceled Lent and slowed down fast. Enjoy Christmas, because it's your last. No shopping sprees. No more presents under dead trees. Saint Nick is dead. And we don't grieve. We celebrate last Christmas Eve. Goddamn. Do you know how fucking amazing it would have been for me to have... I mean, when I've gotten through the entire song, I would have probably gotten through it a lot better than I did with Urban Waste, because there's a little in the song Ignorant. There's a lot more of obscene language in that song, and I probably could have gotten a bit through it, because there's not really too many expletives. It's just offensive. And I say offensive not to me, but there's just more offensive jokes. And hell, half of the stupid fucking students that I used to go to school with, half of them probably would be too stupid to understand half of it anyway. Stupid ass Christian fuckboys. Now I know what you might be saying, Anarka. You're sure trashing on Christians a lot, man. I thought you have said before that you're done doing that. Well, I don't obviously make atheist rants. I don't, go out of my way to be hostile like I used to, but I'm talking about back then. How things were for me back then, back when I hated Christians. If you were a Christian, I didn't want to do with you, and that's only because of the way they treated me throughout my life. They burnt me with fire, so I grabbed a flamethrower and I let them have it. But that song, if I would have been able to play that around Christmas, that would have been fucking incredible. Anyway, guys, yeah, here's my review of all the songs on Self-Entitled. Tried to tell you the meanings behind them, and plus give my little personal perspective of them. And you can see up there, Fat Mike is in drag. Fat Mike loves going on stage and dressing like a woman. That's one of his favorite hobbies. And yeah, he's not dressed like a drag on this one. But you got the band there just playing. Hefe's doing the electric warm up there at the top. NOFX stuff entitled. All songs written by Fat Mike except Sellout by Eric Melvin and Fat Mike. Produced by Bill Stevenson, which Bill Stevenson of the Descendants, I believe, produced most of the records other than the First Stitch Effort, which I'll review that at some point. But, I was just listening to this earlier, and I'm like, goddamn, I need to do a review of this record. And not just all the songs are amazing, but the artwork. Self-Entitled. Look on the back there. You got a NOFX gig with a bunch of people just going at it. I love the artwork, the black background with just the different colors and the shirts and all that. It's a really good album, and what the hell? Oh, I apparently never used this little Fat Wreck download card. Yeah, I used to get them all the time in records and still do, and sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Digital download included. You're welcome. Fuck it. But anyway, guys, I'm Anarka Akaza. Thank you so much for watching my vinyl record review over NOFX self-entitled. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, which I'll eventually review the other records by NOFX. And when I get the money, I will definitely invest into a much better webcam because I'm just using a Logitech webcam that I paid like $5 for at Goodwill. Don't really have. I just returned to the United States from the Philippines. I'm wearing a Tribal hat. Tribal is a clothing brand over there for rockers, whatever. But when I get the money, I'll get a better webcam. Anyway, guys, I'm Anarka, and this has been NOFX, self-entitled, released in 2012 by Fat Records. Dos Vidania.